And Mount Kenya Hub, we basically deal with incubation of innovators. We do train and also invest in some of the innovations that we have. At Mount Kenya Hub, we have a team of 12 comprised of both ladies and gentlemen, and they are of different backgrounds, starting from communications, accounting, ICT, and also graphic design. To join Mount Kenya Hub, it's free. You just need to go to our Android application or our site, mountkenyahub.com/membership, and you can join to become a member of Mount Kenya Hub. Recently, we have a couple of programs. One, we have meetups. We do meetups, annual meetups. We have software development trainings, starting from Android development, PHP, Java, and lately we have started training Python programming. We have a new program also called the Pitch Breakfast. This is whereby some of our innovators can be able to showcase their innovations to some of our investors, and with this you just get a platform to explain and to convince some of the investors to invest in your program. Starting from this year, we'll be launching our M-Hub magazine, which is an annual magazine, and it will be basically talking about innovations that we have, and also the trend of innovation in Africa. Our offices are located at the Northern Bypass, Ruiru, house number E8, and it's free for anybody to come. Although nowadays we are starting to vet some of our members or somebody who will need our space, but it's free, and you can have coffee, which is also free, and also meet some other innovators. Our social media platforms are on Facebook, we are Mount Kenya Hub. Twitter, we are M-Hub Kenya. LinkedIn, we are Mount Kenya Hub, and also Instagram, Mount Kenya Hub. Thank you.
This is a revolutionary invention that is going to salvage the young people and also anybody who has been going through these mental health challenges. SADAP is a platform for connecting patients and counselors. We've realized that every year 1.9 Kenyans are suffering from depression and anxiety. And the sad news is that in the next 4 minutes, 11 young people will have tried suicide or even have committed suicide. And this is a narrative that we want to change at SADA. So what we're doing is that we are onboarding counselors on our platform and connect them to young people and other people who are depressed and anxious, where they can get help. So we've been doing this for the last 3 months, and we've been able to onboard more than 26 counselors and been able to serve more than 56 patients who have been able to interact and get their cases solved. You've seen over the media that most of the people are going through challenges, and most of them are people who are between 15 years and 25 years. And some of them are students, some of them have a bright future. But mental health challenges are leading them into situations that they should not be. And this is what we are trying to change. So the event today has been great. We've learned a lot, and we've had a chance to interact with Her Excellency. And it's been a good opportunity also to express our ideas and also to share with other innovators. And it's also been a great chance also to get to know what other people are doing. And my expectation is that from this point onward, we're going to have more collaborations so that we can have a consumer-centric innovation realm in Kenya and in the world at large, providing solutions that are going to transform lives.
Thank you. Thank you very much, viewers. So this is our first episode, so some technical hitches here and there, but welcome. Now we are live. So my name is Savio Wambugu. I'm a software engineer by profession, I'm also the founder of Mount Kenya Hub. Today, it's our first show, and I'm privileged to have and to host one of my best friends, who we have walked this tech journey together since the days in campus until now. That is around over 10 years experience, and we have been working over together, and we have gone through a lot of challenges together. Some have helped us evolve, others have made us stronger, and it's a very good story to come and see how we started and how we are doing right now. So thank you very much. So welcome, Mr. John Kinyua. John Kinyua is, he has a lot of titles. I'll let him explain all of them. And he's the founder of Mkulima Bora. He's also a software engineer like me. He's also the CEO of Savio Africa Holding, which is a tech company in Kenya, doing well in Africa, and we have done a lot of innovations and solutions together. So welcome very much, John Kinyua. Maybe you can tell the team who John Kinyua is.
Yes. Thank you so much, first of all, for hosting me. I think it's a great pleasure for me to be here today. As you've said, my name is John Kinyua, and I'm a software developer professionally, but I like to call myself coder. I'm a coder. I think that's a passion I've gained over time since I was young. It has transformed into a livelihood, and even as a profession. Yeah, so I think it's good that you mentioned we've come from far. It's good to look back where we've come from. And, I think over time we've been able to accomplish a lot, to learn, to venture into areas that are of interest, to take up the risk, and basically to solve challenges as they arise. Yeah, so once again, thank you for having me. I'm married. She's a woman.
Okay.
We are blessed with one kid, Sekai Kendi. And together we are so happy to have come this far.
Thank you very much. You see, it's a long journey, and maybe we are not celebs in this country, and we don't have a name, but I believe that we have done enough to motivate people and to make sure that we are pushing this innovation forward. You know, a lot of people don't really know where we started. It is very, I guess sometimes some partnership are just made by random meetups and events. And I remember the first time we met, I guess it was in Kenya Methodist University.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes, exactly.
It was during the annual, it was called the annual computer science competition.
Yes.
What was your take in regards to the annual computer science competition?
I think for me it was a great opportunity. I think I was just fresh from campus. We had just finished, so we were in the process of looking for jobs and applying here and there. So the university called me and said that they have been invited to take part into that competition, and I was invited to go and represent the university. So I think that's where we met. We were competing against each other.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I beat you.
You don't have to say that. Kuna haja ya kusema.
Yeah, but I like being humble.
Mm-hmm.
And on a light note, and from that time it's been a good journey. It's been a great journey.
Yeah, you remember the first, I remember those, I guess if you can agree with me, those annual computer science competition are very helpful. Yeah. I guess it was basically a lot of universities coming together and making sure that we can compete. And I remember you were in, you had an innovation. Can you remember the innovation that you beat me with?
I think I can remember. It was as an SMS service that shut down and
the server.
Start servers. So system admins could manage servers from home using SMS. And it was just a concept I got somewhere and I tried to implement. That time we did not have SMS APIs. So we were using the Safaricom modems.
Yeah, I remember.
And they were quite hectic. Programming that device was not easy.
When was it? Okay, I know some people are going to now to average and get our age. But when was it? It was 2020. Is it 2010 or 2011?
It's a long time ago.
Around 2011. 20? No,
2014?
no, it should not be 2014 because I remember it was among the first annual computer science,
yes.
which you beat me. The second computer science competition, we were in different fields.
Yes.
But I remember then it was around 2011, if I'm not wrong, and by then technology was.
Yes.
And I remember I keep saying this example. When did you get your first Android phone?
I think it's. Can I really remember when it was?
For me, I can't remember the year, but I can remember it's not even getting. I remember my friend, I guess it was Kevin. he had the first Android phone that I saw, an Idios. It was during my final year in university.
Really?
Yes. So I don't know when was it when you were in university or when?
I think it was after.
Yes.
I remember very well it was after. I got a job with Beats. Then I think in my second year in employment, I bought my first Android phone.
Yeah, which brings us to one of the conversation whereby, which means your probability of coming up with an Android app or an Android technology was zero.
Yes, absolutely it was zero because I remember my first project was to develop a mobile application for contact backup.
Yeah, I remember it. It was called
Contasal.
Yeah,
It was called Contasal.
something of the sort.
Yeah, so when we were developing, I was using a Symbian phone. So I developed the app, the client was happy. Then when we went to test on the client's phone, coincidentally it was an Android phone. So for me, I thought that one app will work for all the operating systems.
Yeah.
And to my shock, it was I had not to develop another version for the Android. That you see now, those experiences, they made us realize of how technology used to shift, and we had to adapt and take up the challenges and provide solutions, because that is our work, to provide solutions. And I think we learn in the process of implementing solutions.
Yeah, and I remember during those annual computer science competition. I wish right now even the present universities can still be doing them, because the technology that you are implementing, which was basically using an SMS to shut down the server and turn on the server.
Yes.
You see, during where we were, we didn't have such technologies. Yeah. So which means when I came there, I guess by then I had a voting system. I remember it was a voting system, web-based voting system. Yeah. Okay. By then also web development was also something good. And we had some more. Anyway, enough of the university. So, and I remember we also met again in the next annual computer science competition, and the story begins. So, would you tell me your life after university?
Well, it's an interesting one. Life after campus was not that easy. Though for me, I think I had already built a professional profile. So when I finished campus, I just got into employment directly into that company. It was a good company to grow in. I met some good mentors. My employers were very good. They were very nurturing. So they gave me an opportunity and an environment to utilize my skill set. So we developed systems, we learned, we took up challenges, we failed in some of them, we succeeded in some. And after that now, I kept on building my capacity. I
remember you had Meru, what was it called? The website, the Meru what?
Yeah, I think
entrepreneurship started early in life.
Entrepreneurship started so early.
Yes.
Because I remember when I was in primary school, I went to boarding, I think in class 7. So that time, I think bread was 10 shillings.
14 or 10.
Yes, 10 shillings.
Yeah.
So I used to write, letters to people who needed I had some handwriting. Yeah, so I used to charge 10 shillings per letter. So that 10 shillings would really take me some a while. And nikaanza pia kushonea watu viatu.
Umeshona hadi viatu?
Umeshonea watu viatu hapo boarding. I think it might come as a surprise even to my parents.
Yes.
They are watching.
Yes.
But it was for the sake of we usually say that necessity is the mother of invention. And at that time, we used to struggle a bit when it comes to surviving in a school. And we had to innovate around to survive. Yeah, so I think from that time now, entrepreneurship became my interest. After high school, I thought about of how we could advertise businesses in Meru on an online platform. I think it was the first ever.
When was it? It was which year? Around which year? It's a long time ago, eh?
2005. In dates, I think in 2005, 2004, around 2004. Yeah, so my father was the first investor in that site. He invested 3,000.
He lost, or
it was a good investment because I bought a domain and hosting.
How much was it then? A domain?
Again, I found somebody who was willing to partner with me.
Okay.
And he just asked for 3,000 as a subsidized fee.
Yes.
And we hosted the site and started approaching businesses. It was a great idea, and businesses started coming on board. But now the challenge I had that time is that the partner that I had on board was a bit older than I, even in business. And I think to some point he started taking advantage, and well, the partnership did not go so well, and we ended things up. So the big idea now, just remained as it was. But from that time now, I started gaining interest into the innovation world, and I think that's now when we met in Kemu after campus, and we proceeded. I think even in first year in Chuka University, I tried to come up with a feedback system where students could. I realized as we were doing the Initago fresher tour,
freshers night or freshers tour.
Yeah, when we were, I realized there were these manual feedback boxes. So I thought, why not have maybe a web application where students could just log in and provide their feedback that could go directly to
there is a lot of things that there's a lot of things that are coming up here. Nowadays, even universities, how many people, even when they are in their fourth year, that can write a simple code? Okay, as much as technology is not all about writing codes, how did you get to learn coding? Because coding is an art. You cannot I keep saying, if you don't know how to code, you cannot fake it. Yeah. Yes. And how did you come up to learn? Because that's something that each and everyone, even today, people keep asking me, and I know you, how did you learn to code? I want you to teach me how to code.
Yes.
Yeah. Coding is one, networking is another, database is another. But again, in coding, would you a simple process on how people can learn coding? Yeah. Because if you are talking about second year, third year, it means that even most of the universities, I remember I did my advanced programming course it was one of my last unit. Yeah. And by then also, technology was not high. I remember I didn't even have a computer. Yeah, I bought my first computer, I guess, in my third, fourth year. Yes. So maybe you can explain in a nutshell, in terms of coding, the process of software development.
I think the first step is gaining interest. You have to have a deep interest in programming as an art. Even in any other profession that we have, you have to have a deep interest. And by interest, I mean that you have to have the intentions right. You see, back then we used to be told that you go to school, learn, get a certificate, look for a job, because that is the survival mode. But nowadays you realize that that may not be the case. So I think it's a matter of interest in the area that you are gifted in. Revolve around that area, invest in that gift, in that talent, and out of that it will become a source of livelihood. So for me, it was coding. So I did anything that I could to learn development, to learn coding, to learn the different platforms, and to try them out. It's not easy. I don't think there's any profession that is easy. But with consistency, with consistent building your capacity and trying things out, you end up now becoming a resourceful person. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're interested in programming, don't get into it because of money. don't become a doctor because you have your friend is a doctor and he's making some good money. You have to get the intentions right. Find out what you love doing, find your passion, invest in it, and you're going to become a successful person.
I remember, coding is also, as you said, it's an art. You have to learn. And I know right now it's very easy because there's a lot of content online. Yeah, you can even teach yourself coding. Yeah, there is a lot of content. It's not like when we were doing. I remember, so like for example, Android development, if fonts were not too much available, it means that even the content itself was not readily available.
Yes.
So maybe, would you, in a scale of 0 to 10, what is the contribution of the lecturer in the university in regards to successful coding?
I think that's a tricky question. And back then I used to think that it was not very important to go to campus and to have a lecturer teach you coding. But now I do realize the reason as to why we go through all those processes. Each and every process is very integral in your building of your brand, of your capacity. And as much as they may contribute not so much in terms of practical, they will contribute in other aspects. Okay? So yes, you have a task and a responsibility of teaching yourself and building your own profile. But do not disregard what all other stakeholders play in your life. May it be the lecturers, may it be your campus mates, may it be your parents. And I think that is a section where we have a debate even globally, because some people are saying you do not have to go to campus to be successful.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a degree to be successful. But the truth is, I don't think a person is made up of one perspective. There are so many perspectives that come into making Savio or John or Mike. So all these are important perspectives that you need in your life. Lecturers will teach you how to be disciplined, how to wake up and attend a lecture, how to deliver assignments on time. All those are disciplines that you need even when you're working for customers, and so they are neglected until when you now become a profession and they become an impediment into your professional life. That's when you realize how important it was back then. Yes.
So what you're talking about is a lecturer or somebody who is guiding you might teach you, he or she might not teach you the art of coding, but maybe he's going to teach you how to refer, how to study on your own. So let me ask a simple question. Were you a good student or a bad student in campus? Maybe you can tell me like 2 funny things that you did in the university. I know they are there. Yeah. So you can just tell us.
Yes, but back in campus we did stupid things. We did otherwise things. And I think they all build up into the experiences.
Okay.
And I think I was not a very bad student, and I was not a very good student altogether. Rarely did I attend lectures. And,
so I was not alone.
Yeah. And I think my friend Kimboi, he was the one who used to remind me every time we have a class. Sometimes he could even remind me of a cut when it's 15 minutes to time.
Yes.
And back then we did not have WhatsApp.
Yes, we did.
So communication was not.
But you remember then there was this free messaging.
Yeah.
I don't know, Orange, I guess.
Yes. So ilikuwa tu ni kucall na ku-SMS, kucall na ku-SMS. If there is any reminder, the walikuwa naitwa aje? The class rep. He could only call everybody to remind them of classes. So I think
you are not aware. There is this. You didn't do any hacking. You didn't. Didn't do such great things. I know you did. It's the past.
I think one remarkable event that happened, I always remember, I used to stay up late at the pavilion to browse, because we used to have the internet there, I think in third year. So the place I used to reside was a bit far from school. So at 1 a.m. That's when I was going home to to sleep. Then it happened that the landlord's dogs, I think 4 of them, and the neighbors' dogs had that habit of guarding the homesteads. So it happened one time as I nilikuwa natembea sasa nikienda kwa hostel they were really fierce. They chased me away from the hostel. So nikarudi nyuma. Zikanifukuza. So nikasimama nikajiuliza sasa it's 1 AM. I do not have a friend who has an extra space I can squeeze in apart from my
Naumba zimetokelezea.
Naumba ziko hapa mbele. So at that moment I think I had to make a decision. It's either me or the dogs. I had to decide who is going to decide when I'm going to
still don't understand, don't know what size you are. Ulikuwa 1 GB, just clarify. I know ulikuwa 1 GB there.
Yeah, well, I was very thin. So I had to gather courage. Nikasema sasa hizi umbwa it's either sasa tugombane nazo ziniume niingie kwa nyumba. And funny enough, when I confronted them, they ran away. So which means they are not as dangerous as they seem to be. And I think in one area of my life I learned that some of the things that we fear a lot in life are not as dangerous as we think they are. So you just have to confront your fears and you unlock the opportunities underneath.
For me, my friends keep saying that I was very dirty in the university. I used to play football. So ati nilikuwa nakuja na ile bag inanuka nakuja nayo class. But by then it was some things didn't really make me I wasn't that serious student.
Yes.
I remember even missed an exam. Yeah, and that's another story for another day. But anyway, going forward, now we have left the university. You went to you were at Beats, I remember. For me, I remember I applied for a lot of jobs. Hata zingine nawaambia wanipe tu, wasinilipe, wanipe tu mahali tu mimi nikae, nitawafanyia kazi. Hata hiyo hawataki. Yeah. And I remember it's a lot. And these are things that most of the guys in the university and other people are going through. I remember when in the university, nilikuwa nafikiria nitatoka huku nje. Nikikaa hivi nashindwa, mbona huyu jamaa hana gari na hana nyumba? Kwa university. Mimi nilikuwa naona mimi nitakuwa nimejenga, nimenunua gari. Yeah. But tukitoka nje, hapa nje it's totally different. And you remember the second meeting is whereby we met and there was a new project. I remember it was during the cashless system and we were approached by one of the banks to help them develop their product. Do you remember the first day we walked into the bank? First is, I remember I went for the first meeting in one of the what do you call them, the matatu sacco. Na hiyo siku for me I didn't know how to do Android development. Yeah, sasa hiyo siku ndio nene napata the banks people say sasa hawa tumeleta wata develop hii system in a record time. Mimi ni siku yangu ya kwanza kuona hata app ikifanya. And fast forward, you remember us going to the bank the first day?
Yes.
Could you remember the notable things that happened? Usiseme hiyo bank because it really helped us. But do you remember the first day in terms of the server, tulikuwa wadogo?
I think we were given a task to implement, and the people who gave us really trusted us, and we did not fail them. We delivered, but a part of us, I think, used to tell us that we are not good enough.
Yes.
To deliver what we are supposed to deliver. And I think even as we were interacting with people in there, they used to hold us on a high rank.
Yes.
Because I remember back then, a colleague umatoka nje anakuuliza umepaka wapi?
I remember.
Tuende na gari yako. Na wewe kitu uko nayo tu ni 100 ya fare.
Yeah, fare.
So you have to walk all the way from that place all the way to the stage.
Yes.
And I think sometimes it could make feel as though we beat more than we could chew. Another part could tell us
it was baptism by fire.
Yes.
Because I remember the first day there was the server, Linux server.
Yes.
For me, I didn't even know anything to do with Linux.
Yes.
By then, Linux server, it was a new technology. Yeah, you remember? Ilikuwa NFC. And you remember we used to study at night and implement.
Yes.
Yeah. But you know those guys walikuwa wanafikiria sisi tunajua kila kitu. And we have a lot of money. And I remember a lot of times that hatukuanga na pesa ya food.
Yes.
You remember?
I think the reality is that what people see mostly is not what is. Most of these companies that you see are excelling. They are not excelling because of the face. It's because of the people who work in the back end. You know, the developers, the coders. Those are the real guys who hold the engines. And some of them, they are not very good when it comes to, you know, interacting with the outside world. So when you now bring them into the outside world, it becomes a bit of a challenge. But the truth is that all these great things you see happening, the masterminds are some of these people we neglect in life.
Yeah.
You know, the people we call geeks.
Yes.
Those who do not have lives, they do not have girlfriends, you know, they do not hang out on weekends.
Yeah.
Those are the guys who sit down and actually handle the, you know, the hard work.
Yes.
But all the same, as I said, is that I think it takes many cogs to build an engine, and everyone is a part and parcel of that. So I think it's a good experience that you brought on board. And I remember even when we used to walk all the way to railways, kulikuwa na mashingo za kuku hapo tunazikula. So ukiwa na 100 unakula shingo moja.
Nilikuwa tembo.
Yeah.
Unakula inajaa mafuta inajaa kwa mikono kabisa.
And it gave us a lot of satisfaction.
Yes. You also remember, unakumbuka ile bridge. Kuna ile bridge iko pale
hapo railways, hapo technical University of Kenya.
Kenya Poli pale.
Yes.
Nakumbukanga tu siku moja. Remember that day. So I remember we used to walk to town. Hatukuwa na pesa ya kupanda magari. So tumeenda pale kwa ile bridge. Hiyo bridge jioni watu wamejaa wanatoka job wanaenda town, wengine wanarudi.
Yeah.
It's actually hectic, I remember. Sijui kama sasa iko hivyo, but I remember kulikuwanga mpaka na traffic officer anasimama ile side, watu wa side kwanza wasimama wanatoka town wanaenda side za ida na wengine wana and I remember the first, nakumbuka kuna siku moja ulikuwa unaweka bag, mtu anaweka bag side ya mbele, kuna computer
alafu unabebwa
juu ukianza kupanda hiyo stairs upanda ile side nyingine make sure ujakanyanga chini utaenda kushukia ile side nyingine. You remember those moments?
Yes.
I also remember, nakumbuka pia tukiwa that it was basically a very big project. I guess it was coming up to, it was 250 billion. The projection by the government was around 250 billion shillings per year. And I remember, unaweza ambia tu watu wenye nasikiza the kind of computers tulikuwa tunatumia, because you know nowadays you'll find people who don't even understand coding or anything, anafikiria computer ndio ina code.
Yes.
Yeah, anafikiria if I have an expensive phone, I have an expensive computer, or even what we see on movies. Sijui jamaa pale ana hack, sijui the real unaona ile computer huyo geek anatumia, sijui ako na workstation inashanaje. You remember the same solution that we are doing? Ebu just elezea tu watu computer, usiseme yangu. Sema tu computer yako how it was.
I think there's this African saying that if you know where you're coming from, you'll know where you're going.
Yes.
It's good to reflect on what we used to use back then, because I remember there is this meme that keeps on doing rounds that we keep on complaining about storage, that 16 GB is not enough for a phone.
Yes.
And the first person to go to the moon, they utilized, I think, 4 KB of RAM.
That's less than the phone.
Yes.
What memory the phone has.
Use 4 KB.
Yes.
So I think the most important point to deliver here is that start with what you have. You use what you have. Don't wait until when you have everything in perfection, so that you can start. I remember back then when you used to work on that big major project, my machine was not that conducive in good state. Yes.
Okay,
number one
TV.
Yeah, number one ilikuwa TV.
Yes.
Number 2 uking'oa charger, that's it.
Yeah.
Number 2, hii button yake ya kuwasha
haikuwa,
ilikuwa imeng'oka.
I wish you have that computer. I remember unafika mapema. Okay, ilikuwa TV, haikuwa na battery, I remember. But nakumbuka yako ilikuwa ukiingia lazima uinue keyboard, ushikanishe waya, au uwashe. And then uweke, then pia ni nini? Ukienda presentation inabidi tufike hapo mapema tuwashe.
Alafu when I used to sit on the desk.
I remember
people used to ask me, mbona unaeka bag yako hapo nyuma? So the hinges are not cooperating. They are not in unison with my spirit.
Yes.
So one day I remember one of my colleagues alikuja akachukua bag. So the secret was out of the box. But amazingly is that we used what we had, and we delivered. And I think that is what is important for innovators nowadays. Don't wait for when you have machine at 250,000. Kama uko na machine ya 40,000, in fact you have a very good machine.
40 hata,
Start with what you have, innovate around, then build. With time you're going to have all those machines that you want that are expensive.
So and now we come now to the next phase. Tumetoka bank, tumetoka high level. I remember even tumetokea kwa gazeti. You remember that time? Tumetokea kwa gazeti pale, president akilaunch. Nakumbuka kuna pia yule rafiki yetu mwingine tumetokea pale, then mtu anakuona kwa gazeti anakumbuka ile deni uko nayo. Then anakupigia wapi pesa yangu? Unamwambia sina kakitu. Then anasema, "Man, you're telling me you don't have money," na nakuona na president kwa gazeti. You remember? But anyway, we left the bank after doing a very good project. I remember it was one of the best, and it also taught us a lot of things, and it also taught us new languages that hatukuwa tunajua, kama hiyo stories za EMV. Remember the standards, the 14443 standards. Hizo ni vitu hatukuwa tunajua. We didn't study that anywhere. We were studying it on the ground. So I remember it was something good. But tumetoka bank, and you remember we started the new system ya magari. It was cash light system ya kulipisha magari. You remember it? And I remember we the first time we went to we actually developed the first prototype of the app without any customer. And I remember we went to the market. We were very poor. Nakumbuka?
We were very poor in terms of money. And unakumbuka tulikuwa tu na simu moja na ka printer. There's one NFC Bluetooth printer. Na nakumbuka tulienda kwa one of the circles. Wakasema, hii system tunaitaka leo. Hatukuwa na simu, hatukuwa na printer. And I remember we started using on our phones. And then that's another story for another day. But there's that experience that it created where we are coming into the market, a new market that needs money, but you don't have money. And you remember we used to innovate each and every day. But now, what lessons would you say in regards to, we have left the bank, we are coming into a new market, a new, the matatu industry is not well organized in terms of tech and everything. Maybe what can you say in regards to that? I think one is that Mike Tyson once said that you always have a plan until you get punched on the face. So even before you start anything, you have a very good plan. It works perfect on paper. And I think it's something I've seen even young people doing nowadays. This is my business plan. It's A to Z. And I'm going to, na nitakuwa na make 10 million per month within the first 6 months. And it's good to have that plan. But when you get to the market, the story could be very different. So one of the lessons that we learned is to be very resilient.
It humbled us.
Be very resilient, because not everything will work according to your plan. Okay. Number 2 is do not fear to get out there and talk to people. Rejection is part of success. Get out there, talk to people, get rejected a number of times. Take the feedback that you get from those experiences. Re-engineer, keep on doing it. One day you're going to succeed.
And you remember, there was one way that we were using then. where you are coming to this circle, tunakwambia we'll give you the system for free, wewe itumie uone iko aje. Would you think that free things sell?
You know, I think it's a good question because apart from that project, and even there was a time we were discussing with Kemboi.
Yes.
And we were kind of reflecting, maisha yanakuwa ngumu mpaka unaambia mtu utamtengenezea website at 3,000 hataki. Even you indicate on your profile that I do websites at 25,000, but you just come with 3,000. I'm going to develop one for you. And I think it's about a two-sided coin, you know, and you have to balance it. If I come with an iPhone right now, iPhone ya 150,000, nikwambia nitakuzia 10,000. Number one, utaanza kunishuku. Is it really the work of that phone? Number two, kuna mwenye atakuja kwambia, it's okay, I know you Savio. So if it's 10,000, shika, in fact itanisaidia sana. And that's why I'm saying it's a two-sided coin. You have to know how to balance. People pay for value. Yes? So you have to build value. You have to sell value. Okay? People are willing to pay a high price for value. Yes? People used to think that, you know, Kenya hakuna pesa, but I usually say that Kenya kuna pesa. They only spend money where they see value.
Yes.
Okay? So I think over time and use of technology and social media and all that, people have now realized that it is easy to measure value of a certain service or a certain product so that they spend what it's worth. Okay? So I think over time, people need to learn that building capacity and value is the first step to success. So that when you're going to sell something, you're not selling something that you yourself cannot consume. Yes?
And by that, I have a question. There is the art of pricing. You know, we come up with solutions every day. Yeah, we develop solutions every day. People are building solutions every day. But there is one question that is keep appearing. I know you have done a lot of systems. Where, how do you price? Like for example, mimi niko pale nimetengeneza, because that's something that mtu ametoka university. Ama hata website. Yeah, that 3,000, that niko na system ya shule, niko na system POS pale, niko na system ya logistics. Kuna hiyo kitu inaitwa pricing, which is very key. Yeah. How do I tell you hii system yangu nitakulipisha 3,000?
Yes.
Nitakulipisha 150,000. How is that? Because that's very key. Na nikitoka na John mpaka we industry, you get a lot of people keep asking us such questions. It's in a nutshell, it's a service.
Yes.
Yeah. So what would you say in a nutshell?
Yes.
How do you price? How do you try and price?
I think for me, I have 2 points for that. Number one, as I mentioned, it's value. People pay for value. If there's no value, you're not going to pay for it. Yes. So when you're pricing a service is one of the hardest thing to price because you're charging your brain service, your expertise, and your skill set. If it's for a product, you have to consider the cost of production, the materials, then you add a margin, you know, profit margin, then you sell. But for service, it's very tricky, and that's why I'm saying, when people realize the value that you're offering them, then they're willing to compensate you for that. Okay. Number two, it's what we call I'm trying to remember that name. Is that when you're pricing, I had a talk with a mentor last year.
Yes.
And he asked me a question. He asked me, how much do you charge for a mobile application? And I told him I charge 250, 300,000.
Yes.
And he asked me, how many do you get? How many customers do you get per year for that amount of money? I said, well, 2, 3 or 4. And he asked me, how much customers would be willing to pay 40,000 for the same service, and how many of them would you get in a span of 1 year? And I realized it was so easy to get 20 customers paying 40,000 than to even get one customer paying 300,000.
Yes.
Yes. So, and this goes for specifically those who offer services, especially programmers, web designers, and all this tech stuff. It is easy to convince a client to spend 20,000 and get 50 of them in a year than to convince one customer to spend $500,000
But
even getting that one customer in 2 years, it's a bit of a challenge.
If you're doing that, wouldn't you be undercharging or under pricing?
It's good to consider factors of pricing. Okay, factors of pricing. There is a factor. I'm not good in in economic stuff.
Yes.
My wife is good at that, so she sometimes teaches me some of these things. And there's something called consumer. It's called consumer bargaining power, I think something of the sort. And some of the factors that affect a consumer's buying power is availability of options. Yes. So if you are the only person who is developing a website in that locality, then it means you're free to charge any amount you want to charge. You can charge even 100,000 for a website. But if you're 10 guys and one of them is charging 20,000 and you are charging 50, then the customer has an option of selecting the lowest bidder. Yes.
Okay.
So over time, people have become experts in these things. Kitambo kupata mtu angetengeneza app ilikuwa hard. Nowadays they're everywhere. Everybody can take a course within 6 months. They're developing an app. Yes. So if you used to charge 1 million shillings for an app back then, do you really think somebody could still get the same service for the same price?
No, it also depends with the value of and the scale of the app. But anyway, enough of that. So there is the dark. Tumetoka kwa bank, we have started a new solution. I remember a lot of those circles didn't pay us.
Yes.
They want to use a solution, they don't want to pay. But these are basically, it's an entrepreneurship journey. So where, as much as we earned a lot of, we learned a lot of lessons in regards to that, where ideally we were making money, but people are not paying.
Yes.
You remember? But enough of that. It also came the dark. Giza ikatuingia. You remember the Giza, where now we are broke, to lose hope. You remember?
Yes.
Okay, on my side. Najua tawewe. It was. What would you say in regards to that? Because in every entrepreneurship and innovation journey, there is that side. There is that time when you umepoteza hope, umejaribu kila kitu, imeacha kufanya. Yeah. I remember mtu ana lose hope. Sindio?
Yes.
And it also comes through where people are getting now mental health issues, stress. Wengine pia wanajiua. Yeah, you remember? Maybe you can tell us during that short period when hata mimi nilikuwa nimepoteza hope. Umekaa hivi sasa uko
yes.
Wacha tu niende tena ni employee tena shida. So what did you say?
Yes, TD Jakes once said that you cannot stand and lead if you've never stooped and bled. And it's part of entrepreneurship for you to hit rock bottom. And I think we've had these discussions before with even you,
yes,
of how life has been hard back then.
Yes.
I got into employment after working for that big project. Life became hard. I got back into employment again. I was earning a 6-figure salary.
Yes.
And I think I got into a comfort zone that I did not realize of, the new danger that I was presenting myself into. So after working for that company for years, I decided now I want
enough
to get
is
into
enough.
Enough is enough. I had no savings. I had no, a proper plan of how I'm going to. I just had this great motivation. So I jumped into the next vehicle of entrepreneurship a second time. And I think it's one of the mistakes I made of not planning before, jumping into that.
But a lot of people shy away from leaving employment.
Yes. I think now when I left, I did not leave because I had enough of the plan and the resources that I needed for entrepreneurship. I left because of the motivation and the ideologies of being your own boss and the freedom. Yes. So I got into entrepreneurship, and I remember I really sank. Nilizama. Nikauza kila kitu kwa nyumba.
Kitu nisikia uliuza nikasikia vibaya. Unakumbuka ile TV?
Yes,
so
yes. I really loved that television.
I remember it was very expensive.
Yes. So hiyo ndio time sasa nilikuwa najaribu kuingisha Jackie box, you know, hiyo ndio time nilikuwa najaribu kuona kama naweza sasa settle down with a family. Sasa nilikuwa nacheza, nilikuwa na balance juu sitaki yaone venye naanguka, sitaki yaone venye sina kitu na pia sitaki niishi maisha yenye siezi. So I remember sometime akakuja kunitembelea, na hiyo time ndio nilikuwa nauza kuka. So I had to, you know, kucheza. Mimi ndio middleman. Hii kuka mimi ndio broker, so I'm just transacting. So every time I mention that story, she always laughs at me. But I sank, and I remember even my sister asking me, akaniuliza, mbona unauza hizi vitu zote, si what's happening? And I remember telling her that I've been here before, you know, rock bottom, and I know that when you hit rock bottom, the only way to go is up. So allow yourself to hit rock bottom.
So you're saying
then prepare yourself. Uza kila kitu kama if it takes kuuza kila kitu, uza, but have a plan to come back. Yes, ukianguka usiendelee kukaa hapo chini ati sasa, you know, serikali saidia. Have a plan of coming up back and
I remember then hata tuko tunaongea, remember, and I remember going for a meeting huko Kilimani. Is it called Kilimani? I remember nikitoka meeting hivi, it was a very big meeting, watu wananiuliza, na sasa Savio, umekuja na gari ama tukupatie gari ya kampuni kupeleka nyumbani? We used to live somewhere huko Kahawa West na huko. Mimi na kiburi nasema, mimi niko na gari. But ilikuwa nakumbuka 5. I had to walk from huko nikuje town. Nilikuwa na 50 bob. Then nakumbuka hiyo time fare kwenda west inakuanga 80 bob. So hiyo time ndio unapiga round huko fare ishuke kwa 50 bob. But hizi ni vitu zenye tulipitia, and I remember it was hectic. It was
nakumbuka kuna rafiki yangu, now that you've mentioned that, hiyo time kitambo fare ilikuwa 80 shillings kwenda home. Wow. So after tumeachana, aliamua, alikuwa na so moja, akaenda kula mandazi ya 20 bob. So coincidentally that time, hiyo siku ndio kulikuwa na high demand ya watu wanaenda home. So fake pande kenda wapi? Paka so na kuna 80 shillings. Back then hakukuwa na simu ati unapiga nyumbani utumie M-Pesa. So wakaagri na conductor, wewe sasa nibebe mpaka mahali 80 bob.
80 bob itafika.
Sasa nitatembea. So I think sasa conductor ni kama aliona ni madharau. So akaamua okay, ingia kwa gari. So alimshukishia I think almost 3 kilometers away from home. So he was akitupigia story, anasema unataka kuniambia 3 kilometers is worth 20 shillings. And I think it's a good perspective you brought into place, that just be proud of what you have and where you are at that time. Kama hauna gari, sema hauna gari. Kama unataka kusaidiwa, just say this is me, I need assistance.
Atajua kizoea kusaidiwa sana, watu wanaona unazoea. So anyway, as we conclude, maybe we can talk a little bit about Mkulima Bora, the journey of Mkulima Bora, where from USSD, I remember it was not even USSD, it was a short code. Then USSD, Android, that's a journey. You know, maybe you can, in a nutshell, you can explain about that journey.
Mkulima Bora started as an innovation that was supposed to bridge in the gap between farmers and consumers. In one of the objectives was to minimize the reliance on brokers and middlemen, because they were and are still, you know, exploiting farmers. Because one, there is market, only that middlemen know where the market is. So we created that platform back then as a short code where farmers could just find market and consumers for their products. Then ever since it has evolved to a USSD, now to a mobile application that we have a membership of more than 10,000 farmers, and we have really seen them grow and get empowered. And basically we are not trying to eliminate brokers and middlemen, we're just trying to deal with those who are exploiting farmers. So by use of technology and you know, connecting them to the World Wide Web, we've been able to connect them in Eastern Africa countries. Now I even see Tanzanians advertising their products and Kenyans are buying as well. And it's a good feeling to see that the use of technology has solved that gap and empowered farmers. You see, agriculture is a big sector,
yes,
and it's a very critical sector. And everybody has an opportunity to play a part in, even when it comes to food security. And I think Mkulima Bora has really tried to achieve some of the key pillars in that perspective.
How do people get the app?
The app is available on Google Play Store. You can just Google Mkulima Bora. I'm very confident the first result that you get is from Google search, it's Mkulima Bora. So just click download, subscribe.
And I also saw you have the library where people can also sell ebooks.
Yes, a resource center.
So maybe people can still check it and see how it happens.
Yes.
And now of late, I remember I saw you participated during the COVID-19 Kenya Hackathon, and you had a new technology called SADA app.
Yes.
Maybe, which is a mental health app. What is the drive? Why did you come up with this app, mental health app?
See, I think mental health has been a virus. Let me call it a virus over the number of years that we've lived, and I think it's not been evident over time, and we are now feeling, the repercussions of mental health. It's all over the news. People are killing each other. Kids are running away from home. Families are being broken apart, and it is as a result of mental health challenges. And so when we realized that not many people know how to get mental health, we decided to come up with a technical solution that could assist them to get mental health on their phones. Even now, if I ask you how you can get a counselor, not many Kenyans will know how to get one because they're not advertised everywhere. But that solution now brings counselors to your phone. Number two, it gives you the opportunity to access the services anonymously. Especially for men. Men do not come up and say,
don't want to be,
yes.
Hakuna mtu anataka kuonekana kuna shida.
Hakuna mtu anataka kusema ati familia yangu iko na shida. But when you give them a chance now to access the services anonymously, most of them have come up and they are using the service.
So
we've been able to onboard more than, I think, 50 counselors so far for the last since November, and patients have been using the service over time, and we are very.
So how do they get the service? How do they get the app and everything?
It is also available on Google Play Store, SADA app, or you can search sadapp.co.ke. You'll get all the services there. Install the app, and within minutes you're connected with a counselor.
So I guess now we are coming to an end of this show. So maybe what is the parting shot that you might want to tell the innovators in Kenya? I know next time we'll still have another chance to talk on some other different things.
Yes.
So what would you tell the Kenyan innovators, entrepreneurs in Kenya who are aspiring to either venture into tech or are already in tech? What would you tell?
Yes. I think for me, it's to close with that famous saying that not everyone can be famous, but everyone can be great because greatness is about service. So everyone has a chance to serve. May it be in tech, may it be in education, just serve. There's a reward at the end of the day. When you serve, even if you don't get famous, at least you are a part of something bigger, a bigger picture. And I think nowadays people want to be famous, people want to be rich, people want to become, overnight billionaires, but they do not want to serve. And I think even the Bible talks about, be fruitful in the book of Genesis. And if God has given us, each and every one of us, a talent, the only thing that we can give back to Him is to be fruitful, resonate about your area of talent and specialization, serve and serve and serve. If you clean your house and I clean my house, I think the whole world will be clean. Yeah, so everyone, the youth, the women, the men, let's all serve.
And finally, what do you think is the future of tech, mainly in Africa and in Kenya? What is the future of tech?
I think, especially in Africa, tech has taken a very good route. We are seeing, startups coming up, and they're doing very well. We have some in Nigeria, some here in Kenya, and I think Africa is the next epicenter of technology in the world. And everyone who has an opportunity to invest, let them invest in tech space.
Okay.
Kitambo ilikuwa ununue shamba mahali Kamulu, then you've secured your future.
Na ujenge akawa rental.
So saa hii, invest in tech space.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, anyway, thank you guys. This is our first episode. Next time we'll do better. We'll have better topics. And for us, we are just focusing on basically tech in a nutshell, the grassroots technology. So see you in fortnight in how many weeks?
Fortnight, I think, in 2 weeks.
Yes, see you in 2 weeks, where we'll be having some more inspiration and guests from people who have gone through the tech entrepreneurship and have a story to tell. So thank you very much. Idio yetu ya kwanza najua tena will improve with time. What you keep saying is the only hard thing is the thing that you haven't started. So thank you very much. See you in the second episode. Ibu. My name is Savio Wambugu. I'm a software engineer and the founder of Mount Kenya Hub. Mount Kenya Hub is an innovation hub located at Mount Kenya region. We have a branch in Nyeri and also at Ruiru bypass. And Mount Kenya Hub, we basically deal with incubation of innovators. We do train and also invest in some of the innovations that we have. At Mount Kenya Hub, we have a team of 12 comprised of both ladies and gentlemen, and they are of different backgrounds, starting from communications, accounting, ICT, and also graphic design. To join Mount Kenya Hub, it's free. You just need to go to our Android application or our site, mountkenyahub.com/membership, and you can join to become a member of Mount Kenya Hub. Recently, we have a couple of programs. One, we have meetups. We do meetups, annual meetups. We have software development trainings, starting from Android development, PHP, Java, and lately we have started training Python programming. We have a new program also called the Pitch Breakfast, is whereby some of our innovators can be able to showcase their innovations. Some of our